Baby, give it up, give it up. Baby, give it up. Na 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 na. Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Imran Web Squadron. It's Tuesday. We're back for another week, and I've got my new T-shirt on. And I don't know if you can read that. I'll just hold it up there. I won't say what it says, but hey, this is my T-shirt. I saw it and I just had to get it, right? I just had to go and get it. Hope you're all doing okay. It's been a bit of an eventful morning, really. A client proposal, sorting out a potential proposal last night, which was it was like a hey Webriser, how you doing? It was like a pixel perfect design. The problem with it was that a lot of what they wanted in their design was it was complex with lots of animation. And hey Greg, hey Maddie, and what I found out is that they were working with a developer, and the developer had done loads of work already, but there was some stuff they could not do precisely. So the client fired that developer. And when I looked at what the issues were, it was all around certain types of animation. And I did say to the client and other people that this is the problem with pixel perfect designs. Hey, Hanji's friendly girl, B Informatica. When you get a designer somewhere who has no inkling as to what page builder or solution you're going to use, and they go and craft a wonderful design, and when you try and get someone to do it, they might not be able to do it. And I was really honest. I said, I'm really sorry, but unless you're willing to compromise, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to go any further because well, there were a few alarm bells. Number one, they didn't really want to pay for anyone to investigate further because they've already paid so much money to a designer and a developer. Well, that's not really my problem. You've come to me, you've lost money in their opinion. I don't think they've lost money. You paid for it. And then they wanted me to take over. And I was like, no, there's way too much going on here. And secondly, or thirdly even, the previous developer was using WordPress, but because of the spec was so, it had loads of animation and stuff, which was a bit weird as to why did you want to do that? But that's what they wanted. And they were a creative communications team, but I feel like they were overdoing it. Anyway, the previous developer was using WordPress and they had to hard code everything. And I was like, number one, they've hard coded it. So if you want someone to take over, they have to understand and work with that code. You're not willing to compromise. You had a coder who did a heap of work. They must have been really good what they did. And now you fired them because they weren't doing all of your animation. Well, doesn't that kind of tell you something? So I was like, oh, I don't want to go there. Hey, Nicholas or Nick, Mark. So this is one of the things many times, whenever someone's come to me with a pixel perfect design, I only take on about, say, 20%. 80%, I don't go any further because they literally have got something and you look at it and go, to do this, we're going to have to do a heap more work, or we're going to have to get some custom code done, or we're going to have to go and get some special animation created for doing all of this, some JavaScripting. And the client's like, I'm not paying more. I don't care. I literally lose interest because I treat every proposal and every job like it don't matter. This is the trick, people, right? No matter how desperate you are for work, you treat every potential proposal like it doesn't matter. You win it, you get it, you do your role and you deliver it. But if a proposal comes through the door and you treat it like if I want it and I know I can do it, I'll try and do my best to win it. But if I don't want it, I'm not going to try and convince myself to want it. Does that make sense? So here we've got a client who came to us last night. They were going to pay money. Let me tell you now, they were going to pay money. But I didn't like the complexity of what they're asking for. I don't want a sleepless night. I'm done with that. I really am. I've got too many things going on in my life and work and projects and stuff. I've got too much. I don't want a sleepless night. I don't want it. Okay? And no matter how desperate you are for work, because I've been through stages where we had like a 2-month period once, no clients, no income. But that's where you got to be clever. When you make income, you don't blow it, right? You only use what you need to use to pay the overheads, your bills, your mortgage, whatever. And you keep a good amount back. All right. You always do that. And you do that. And when a proposal comes in, you don't go, oh, I got to win it. I got to win it. Don't do that. It's a bad practice to get into. Hey, Greg. So some people create designs and things like Figma. Exactly. Now, Greg, funnily enough, this client, they had a Figma design. No, it wasn't Figma. They had a Figma design, and then they showed me an Adobe XD document that had all the animations and stuff going on. Hey, Dave, how you doing? And the problem was, hey, Chuck T as well. And the problem is that what they were doing was, it was like, why? Like the minute you go to the website, it's got like this animation, then another one, then another one, then another one, then they overlap, then they change, then the words come up, and then they reverse behind the word. And I'm like, no one's going to care for that. And your previous developer struggled to do that. That's a warning, right? Just, and it's like, what a lot of them say is, oh, but our designer, we paid our designer. I don't mean to be funny, but that isn't, sorry, I've just got to quickly schedule something here. That's not my problem, right? That's not our problem, is it? Clients that demand a fast pace but then lack to finish the content for believe that is so true. WebRiser, there's cool GSAP. You're absolutely right. Motion effects, GSAP is really good. I don't use it because none of my clients want that. So I would say if you know your clients want it and you're going to use it, go for it. But it's not something I'm rushing out to learn. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. Yeah. And these animations were beyond even GSAP. They were like stupid kind of animations. Hey, Hossam, you're absolutely right, Greg. And I think we all understand this, right? I mean, come on, Greg, right? Websites, when people started using tile effects in the late 1990s, every website had a tile effect. When the Ali Makbeal animated GIF came out, every website had either a running T-Rex, the Ali Makbeal dancing baby, Bugs Bunny, and I think there was another one as well. I can't remember what it was. There were 4 that were really popular. Do you remember the running T-Rex, Ali Makbeal baby, Bugs Bunny, and there was something else? Hey, Richard from Scotland, how you doing? By the way, Richard, I'm coming over to Edinburgh in April, taking my son there for like a 4-day trip. I just hope, fingers crossed, the weather is nice to us when I go to Edinburgh in beginning of April. Mark says he totally agrees. Buzzing for my first consultation last Friday, but went terrible. Had to decline. Yeah, Mark, I mean, do you want to tell us more about why you had to decline without giving away too many details? What was it? What changed everything? What made it go wrong or bad even? Hey, Burgett, how you doing? Right, so Chuck T's got a client, but PayPal put my payment on hold. Well, it depends, Chuck T, right? So is it a business account? Has your account been verified? Have you declared your directors or your... There's many things. Sometimes, though, payments get put on hold unless you go to your activity, go to the payment, and then you have to say, what do you have to say? You have to say that the processing is complete or the transaction is complete. You have to say that on PayPal, not in WooCommerce, actually in PayPal. So that can sometimes happen. Camera Obscura is a must. Is that the VR thing? Is that the VR thing near the Edinburgh Castle? The one where you go in and it's all mirrors and everything. Is that one, Richard? Do you think an 8-year-old kid, remember, he's going to be nearly 9 at that point. Do you think a 9-year-old kid will like that? Is it going to give him a headache or will he like it? Please do let me know what you think, what your thoughts are on that. What am I witnessing and not been able to watch a stream lately? Hey, nice to have you here and great to have you, my friend. Camo codes. I don't understand what camo codes are, Chuck T. Do you want to clarify that? Well, Greg, I mean, this is the number one problem, right? The client will say, I'm paying you to make my website look good. What the heck does that mean? And then you say to them, give me example websites. They then give you like 4 examples. I don't have any coupons for Reincubate Camo. Sorry, no. They would have probably had one for Black Friday, so probably missed out, but I haven't got any now. Um, the client gives you 4 websites, 3 or 4, and they're all different, like completely different. So you're like that going, right, okay, so here's the inspiration, but they're so different. Which one do you like the most? Oh, I don't know. But make it look good. What does make it look good actually mean? Hey John, how you doing? Great to have you here, my friend. How are you? You haven't missed out. I've just joined John, by the way. I've just joined on. Or do you mean camo, reincubate camo? To be honest though, okay, reincubate camo is £70, I think, for the lifetime license. I think it's worth it, regardless of any discount deal or anything like that. Just a comment over here. Hanji says, how do you deal with clients that like it their way but do not understand? Well, what I do is I talk to them. I advise them. They say what they want. I then advise them. If I think what they're doing is so fundamentally wrong and it makes it difficult for me to build, I back off. I don't want to work on it. If, however, I've explained that I wouldn't put a video there, or I wouldn't have your buttons going like page to page to page to page to page to page to page, contact page. If they don't want to listen, fine. If they're going to pay for it, fine, I'll do it. So you advise them. You're the expert, right? If you employ a builder, you say, I want an extension, I want the door here and the window there, and the builder says, it's better for you to have the window here because of the light, and it's better for your door to be here because your heater will go there and the wires, I will probably listen to the builder if I know they're not bullshitting me, right? So it's for the expert to advise, and if they don't want to listen, fine, they don't want to listen. Mark just says, so he lost a deal, says price focus, wanted to compete. Yeah, Mark, yeah, good one, mate. Look, if they start to push you down because they got a job, someone else was going to do it cheaper, I always go, well, why don't you go to them then? Why have you come to me? And then they say, well, we came to you because you know more. Right, so you've come to me because I know more, but you want to pay me the same as what someone who did not know more was charging. How does that work? Dun, 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 dun. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we get that all the time. What kind of SEO service I can learn to offer my clients? Well, WebRiser, look, right, rank math installation, keywords, Google Search Console, Google Analytics, keywords on your products, keywords on the homepage, researching the keywords, digital marketing, social media marketing. There's a whole heap of stuff you could look into. I am planning to write an ebook on more detailed SEO, and I am probably going to make that available. You know, the Elementor website course that we've got on our learn.websquadron.co.uk. We are going to be doing that. By the way, if anyone wants to join the live chat, you can do. I should have posted it in earlier. I am going to create an ebook that will be available for free for anyone who's part of that course. Otherwise, yeah, it's only going to be available in that course, to be honest. Hossam, sometimes you just do your work, design the website. Absolutely. Hey, George, how are you, my friend? Sorry, I'm a bit late to say hi to you. You've been here for 2 minutes. Nitin, what I did for fast page speed for Elementor. Well, have you seen the page speed 2023 videos? Just checking some of the comments. Greg, I need to understand the hierarchy of how a well-structured website works. Oh, sorry, people. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people just totally ignore that. Have you seen my t-shirt and what it says? Can't even get the words. There we go. Can you see that? Can you see what it says there? It says, drink up chumps. I saw this on Friday and I was like, I've got to buy that t-shirt. I've just got to get it. Yeah, so look, WebRiser, if you do that for free, where's your add-on? So you have you have the discovery, investigating the solution. You have the website build. You have the SEO add-on. If they want WooCommerce, that's an add-on. If they want appointments and bookings, that's an add-on. You always start with the basic website. You don't say to the client, we're going to do your website. We're going to do your SEO. We're going to do your WooCommerce. We're going to do all your investigation, all your keyword research, sort out all your colors. We're going to get your images. We'll refine the images in Canva. We'll size them all up, scale them. You don't do all of that. Just will bung it in. Because you've really got to think about, if you're trying to scale, you've got to break things out into packages. Hey Dara, how are you doing? I did some videos about ACF and pods. Right, Dara, I would recommend you use ACF. You don't need to use pods now, right? I think ACF is let me change. Let me change my opinion. Are you going to have repeater fields? Because you can get those within pods, right? Otherwise, you've got to get ACF Pro. Are you going to have a gallery? You can get that in pods. In ACF, you've got to get Pro, or you can use individual images. Are you going to have a URL field? You can get that in ACF in a funky way, or you just get it straight out of pods. So I would say weigh up what you want to get. ACF has more in it now because you don't need to use the custom post type plugin. You can do custom post types in ACF. I mean, I'm so glad they eventually got around to doing that. But you got to weigh up what kind of fields are you going to be using. Yep, so Jap says, will you be updating the course? The big change, Flexbox. Well, the course already covers Flexbox containers. What we don't cover is the AI at the moment. And I have to be honest, the Elemental AI container, I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow. It's very hit and miss with how good it actually is. And I'll explain that more in tomorrow's video. So it's got its potential, but I feel like it's not quite ready yet, but I'll give you more detail about that. And there's more modules coming on the course anyway, so it will be updated. WooCommerce, LMS, more about custom fields. And I am also going to be creating some ebooks about SEO as well that I'm going to stick into the course. Like, you can just go and it might be like 20 pages, but you'll get that for free. There's no extra. You got to pay for that. So whatever you pay, there's always going to be add-ons. So we're always improving it. Nitin, thank you very much. Love from India. Hope you're okay, my friend. John is absolutely right. Packages are the best way to offer extra deals. So you're literally saying to the client, right, you want a basic website? That's what you get. That's it. That's what you get. You want a more expanded website, you pay a bit more. You want WooCommerce, you want appointment bookings, you want SEO, right? Things start to step up, kind of thing. Even with WooCommerce, I'll do your first 3 basic products. I might even do one variation for you. You got 20 products. Do you want me to do all of them? There's a cost, right? Or I can do it and give you a video that explains what to do. Oh, you want a written guide? Okay, I'll do your written guide, but you got to pay for me to now produce the written guide, which might take 1 to 2 hours of my time to do it properly or whatever. So you break it down. What you don't do is give everything, because then you have to now deliver it. What am I witnessing? What does pod stand for? Do you know what? I can't remember. I actually can't remember what it stands for. Nola, how are you? Have you ever done a website without doing the SEO part? Yes. Yes, many times. I've got clients that say they don't want to do it. Web designers deserve way more credit. Hey, Dishu, how are you doing? By the way, if anyone wants to join the live chat, you can jump on and we can talk, or we can help answer the questions or whatever you want to go for. Hey, Jacob, back to Nola. I've had clients, I've explained to them the SEO, and they go, no, I'm all right. They don't go for it. Then they come back and complain to me about 3-4 months later. I'm on page 9 of Google. Why? And you go, because you didn't go for the SEO. Yeah, but why is my website not at the top? My website is new. They're really old. It's not really date order unless you do it in date order. And a lot of people don't sort in date order unless you're looking for certain stuff or whatever, right? Mark, what's your thoughts on showing your pricing? Right. So this is what I do, Mark. I say this is where we start from. So our basic price is I can't remember now, is it 920 or 960? I can't remember, because very rarely do we ever build a website for the basic price, but you have a start price. So if you build websites that start from £100, anyone coming to you will be like $100. This could be roughly the price of the website. If you say our starting price is $10,000, loads of people that want a website built for $50 ain't coming to you. You know, they're going to be like, whoa, no, let's sideways dodge in a good way. Big businesses might be like, yeah, we want a real hardcore expert professional. So I don't think it's a complete bad and it also means that you exclude people. Like I've had so many people come to me all the time. I want a website built. Hey, just adding John in. They go, right, I want a website built. And I tell them the price and they go, yeah, but I could get it for $40 on Fiverr. And I'm like, fine, go ahead then. Go and get it. Don't worry about it. I wish you all the best. You know where I am. I'm right here if you have a problem. But go good luck on Fiverr. So sometimes it's like setting, in a way, right? It's a bit like every shop. You know, when you walk past a shop and they have clothes in the window and it might say, there might be like, you might want to be looking for a suit, right? You got to go to a wedding. And then you see a shop and it's got men's suits and you see the price. You go, oh, I like that suit. You go to the window and if it says £100, you might go, hey, yeah, I'm going to go in. If it says £1,000, I can tell you now, I walk past, right? So sometimes what you see is what draws you in. So, because if I was to go in the shop and say, I noticed you got a suit there for 1,000, have you got anything for 100? I wouldn't be surprised if the shop owner or customer service assistant looks at me and goes, what makes you think we got £100 suit? If we had £100 suit, it'd probably be in the window or something like that to draw you in. So you're almost setting like the threshold, you know, it's like cars, right? You go to a car dealer. If all of the cars on the front are like £50,000, right? You know, they're all Lamborghinis or whatever. Don't go in and go, have you got anything for 5,000? Because they're just going to laugh at you. Would you agree with that, John, in terms of like setting the thresholds? Oh, John. Oh, can you hear me, John?
The one thing I fear, yes, I can hear you. The one thing I dislike is when there's no price and you see just the product and you're supposed to walk through the door. It ain't happening in my case.
Well, it's
If
like
it's not priced, that means it's likely to be too expensive.
yeah, and basically that's a bit like what was I going to say? So I get quite annoyed when I go to a website and they're advertising something, nothing to do with web design, it could be anything, and then it says go and get a quote or go and get your prices, and I've literally got to tell them my name, my phone number, my contact details, and then they're going to get back to me. And I get really annoyed with that because I'm a bit like, just give me an inkling. Give me a rough idea for what it would be. You know, oh, I want to get, I don't know, I want to get a new boiler. Tell me the prices start from £1,000 or whatever. Give me an idea, because if it's in my ballpark area, I'm happy to give you my details. But what I don't want is give you my details. You're going to call me back. I don't even know when you're going to call me back. Then you're going to ask for more information. And then 20 minutes later, you go, right, we think it will be £20,000. And I'm like, you should have told me that before, kind of thing. We just lost John there. John might be back. But yeah, I mean, I would say sharing prices isn't a bad thing. Please don't forget to smash the like button. Something happened today which has annoyed me quite a bit. So Jamie, who does a lot of Gutenberg videos and WordPress stuff, he's a popular guy. He does courses as well in London. He did a video about bricks, and it was kind of like a review, but not a complete review. And he was very open that he's not really used bricks, and he gave his thoughts about it. Someone has gone and posted that video in the bricks WordPress community on Facebook, sorry. And loads of people have jumped in attacking Jamie, especially a certain person. And I have to say, they always get personal. So if someone has said they feel like there was some stuff with bricks that wasn't clear, they've gone and got personal with him because they don't like what he said. It's literally like you can't say anything, an honest opinion without certain people in toxic communities, in my opinion, getting very toxic. I'm just going to read some of the comments that are coming down over here. I think there was a comment somewhere, was there? Chris Do tells a lot about how to price your work. It's a great way to understand the difference between quantity and value. There you go. Little tip there. Go and check out the future video there. Yeah, I mean, I would say, Nola, that some people charge low because they are happy to charge low. And I feel like depending on your geographical location, there will be some that charge a lot lower than what we do, just like there are some that charge way more than I would ever consider. I know web designers that would do something that I might charge, say, $5,000 for, they would charge 30, and they are continuously winning business. And I'd be afraid of ever saying, yeah, 30,000. I don't feel comfortable with going that high. I feel like there's a load of pressure then. Turdsler, have you ever had random links appear on your landing pages? What kind of random link? Was it due to a plugin? Was it a vulnerability? What plugins have you got? Was it a GPL plugin? Was it, I don't know, it could be loads of stuff, right? I mean, yeah, Friendly Girl does say you might have been hacked, but that's the question I'm asking about. What plugins are you using, and are they all, authentic plugins? And I don't mean that in an accusatory way, but I'm just asking the question. What do you got, and have you got anything else like feeding into the website or something like that? Cheers, Nick. Oh, by the way, Nick, I hope you've seen the video I just put out about Elementor Essentials. So there are still questions being asked about Elementor Essentials, the Elementor Advanced, the grandfathering in. What do I lose out on? Do I have to upgrade or not? So again, I've added in my take again, my clarity, and what I'm trying to say is you and your clients are okay unless you need to upgrade because you're a future purchaser of a client. Do you know what, Dave? You are kind of right there. Sometimes we are all guilty of it. But do you know what, Dave? I think some people go out their way. They literally go out their way to create a toxic environment. And if you look at, hey, Darren, you're right, my friend. Yeah, and Jamie is a really nice bloke. Yeah. The thing is that if you look at what some people have said about Jamie, they've literally said, I'm now going to create a video where I do X, Y, Z. I'm going to make a point, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. It's like they are intentionally psyched up to rattle kind of thing. Hey, Mark Harris. Look, Mark, here we go. Can't get my t-shirt up. Look, there we go, Mark. There we go, Mark. Look at that. I've got it on, Mark. Just for you. Watchley. Yeah, cheers, Nick. Yeah, I think it just I think it's me trying to get across to people that you don't have to worry unless you haven't got an essentials plan. So a future client might have to pay more. But then when you compare it to other page builders, the cost ain't that different. Some people have said, 59 to 99. Yeah, but if they were going to use bricks, you'd pay 99. If they were going to use breakdance, they'd pay more than that. If they were going to use Generate Press, yeah, you can get that for 49, but now you're in the Gutenberg territory, right? So if you kind of just go, look, forget the fact it's gone from 59 to 99, forget that, look at what you get for the 99, and then compare it to others, well, it's up to you. No one's forcing you to go get it, right? Existing clients are okay. You're fine. You might miss out on a new feature, but how often do existing clients care about the new features? And the point I make in the video, right? I'm going to ask you all on the live chat this, okay? And I'll tell you what I've done. How many of you have revisited your previous clients and converted them to Flexbox Container and LoopGrid? Me, zero. In fact, I can tell you now, the Learn Web Squadron website is Container. The original Web Squadron website is still section and columns. I haven't got time to go back and even convert that. I haven't got time. It's not because I'm lazy, because I haven't got time. I literally have not got time. I've got too much going on. Nola has. Wow. All right, Nola, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Friendly Girls done 3. Oh, for a cost. Absolutely, Nola. Yeah. If your client wants it and they're going to pay it, of course you would. Of course you would, right? Exactly, Dave. And you know what? It's like, and the way and I've looked at the original Web Squadron site and I'm like, well, it's not broke. It works. The courses still work. I can add pages. It still works. I don't have a loop grid, but I don't put any blogs on there, so I don't need to do anything fanciful to it. So when you have a lot of clients, sorry, unless they are desperate for the new feature, I don't think you need to worry about it, right? I don't think you need to worry about it. Randy, I'm looking for a super cheap hosting for college students that are low income. Can you all please start putting down your suggestions to Randy there? Can you all start putting your suggestions? Hey, Mr. Mark Harris, how are you doing? How are you, my friend?
I'm okay. Well, no, I've had
Oh,
an annoying morning because it was either a Windows update or a Chrome update that decided it wanted to forget any sites where I said, yes, cookies are fine, or
oh,
or forget my Google logins.
oh,
So everything I went to do is just like an extra step.
oh dear! All of those dodgy sites you've got to revisit.
I can't remember my password to
Oh,
your
they're easy.
OnlyFans.
You just put .xxx and then you'll probably find something anyway. So,
Also, I just wanted to pick up what you were saying about upgrading our
old
stack, and
websites.
then yeah, so I think you're doing your clients a disservice just because you want to use a new tool. Don't
It's
force
kind of
it
a
on
yeah.
them. Yeah, if their website works, it's making sales, they're happy. If that's their goal, if it's not making sales, it's getting inquiries. Just because you think there's now a better way to do it, if it ain't broke, don't fix
Exactly,
it.
and for me, it's a case of right now we know the elemental taxonomy filter is very very basic and it needs major improvements, I think, and it's nothing like Grid Builder or JetSmart filters. If we ever get to the stage where it's like a proper full blown WooCommerce solution that you could use for filtering, you might have a client who's paying, annually or monthly for a special filter, maybe.
Hmm.
Then you might go, hey, you've got to pay for me to do this. Um, but it means that you're going to save $50-$60 a year. And even though you might end up paying more for me to build it, in the long run, you're going to come off better off because now it's 2 less plugins we installed on your machine, for instance.
Hmm.
But yeah, I completely agree. And that's why I feel like I know a lot of people have said, but we're going to miss out on the elemental new features. And I'm like the point I've just made, like even our original Web Squadron site is still section and columns because I'm like,
I too.
it's like because I was like flipping heck, it'll take me a good 3 or 4 days to properly change it all, and I was like, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
the only thing I do is on old sites, I will turn on containers, and then if I'm adding to a page, I might do it with a container. But I can't think of any site I've gone through and converted.
yeah, it's just not. I mean, it's like Yeah. Anyway, I was just I mentioned earlier that Jamie did a video about his take on bricks and how he felt like it wasn't completely easy to use, and the bricks community have piled in. I've made a comment on there, and I'm now getting loads of heat from their community.
Oh,
But
you never learn.
I just, well, I went in. What all I said was, look, Jamie just did a review.
Mhm.
Let's just not turn this into personal attacks, because that's literally how it's become. And our great friend who we all love
Okay.
and adore, he's
This
literally
this this review, did he sort of give it a focus? Did he say this is a review
no, we didn't
based
say
on
he's.
a beginner having a look, or this is a
Yeah, he
review?
basically said, "This is my first time looking at it. I don't understand it all. There's bound to be things I get wrong in a way." Those kind of words. Um, he felt that if you don't understand bricks when you come into it, it's gonna be a learning curve,
Yeah.
which I completely agree with. I do agree with that, because at the time I first started looking at bricks, there wasn't any great tutorials out there. There wasn't
Okay.
really what I call like a start to finish, like this is what you need to do and how you use it. Um, and it took a lot of time for me to get used to it, because I was
Okay.
still stuck in my way of doing things. But
I,
people
I've
have piled in and
I've
just
got two comments that spring straight to mind. If you go to the Bricks homepage, the visual site builder that grows with you. Meet Bricks, an innovative, community-driven visual site builder for WordPress, empowering you to design unique,
visual.
performant, and scalable websites code-free.
Yeah. Well, we
So,
know that if you really want to use bricks, you need to be very good with code. I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing that makes bricks, I think, it handles code so much better. Um, so yeah, I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this.
So, firstly, Bricks isn't billing itself as a tool for professionals, although a professional can certainly get more out of it. The second thing I would say is that whole argument on Facebook is probably based around certain people's assumption that you should only be building websites if. I'm not going to go into what that if is because I think we all know.
Yes.
If you do it a certain way, the way that
Yeah.
is deemed correct. So it's a pointless argument again. Until he can get over the fact that you don't need to do things a certain way to be a professional.
Well,
Because you can be a professional boxer and box left-handed. That makes you a minority, but you're still a professional bloody boxer and you win fights.
yeah. I mean, I think what I'm. Oh God, I've just had a notification come up. Someone's just mentioned me in their comments, and I think we can guess who it is who's just mentioned me in their comment. It literally says, "Da da 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 da." Well, it's not da 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 da. It's da da, because he's, we know his name, has mentioned you in their comments. So I'm going to look at that later on. Like, but it's just that what I don't like is that um a certain person in that group has now said they are going to do a video tomorrow, and they've literally said how they're going to do it in a way, and they are going to, like, rip it up, like, kind of make do it to make a point. And I feel like if someone says something like accidentally, like, let's say I went on and said, do you know what, I won't use bricks anymore because bricks does this really badly. That's my subjective opinion at that time. What you shouldn't do out there is go, right, I'm now going to do a video and I'm going to prove him wrong. Well, at that point in time, that was my opinion and my take on it. It's like I could easily say, you know what, today's Pepsi Max tasted like absolute shit. I'm never going to drink Pepsi Max again. At that time, that was my opinion. It doesn't mean you go and grab a bottle and, like, wash yourself in it and go, I love it. I mean, I would wash myself in it because I do love it. But it's your subjective opinion, but you don't. I don't know. Anyway, it just toxicity. By the way, we've got a few more videos from Mark's code snippets coming out, and I think there's one coming out this week, two next week, and one this week. I bet Mark's actually forgotten what they are because we have so many. But
Yeah.
no, I've tried to stage them out so that we don't just get 2 or 3 of them all in one go kind of things. It's nice to like space them out a little bit like that. Hanji says bricks is not a drag and drop builder. One, yeah, you do. And I've said to everyone, if you want to use bricks, go for it. But you got to think a little bit more, a bit more methodical. And some of the stuff where you was just drag and dropping, you do have to now, like, you just have to stage it right, build it right, and think more about what do you want it to look like. You know, the whole global classes, all of that. You can't just do it on the fly kind of thing.
I mean, it does call itself a drag and drop
Yeah.
builder on its own website, and I don't think I think if Thomas read all this stuff, he'd probably be slightly upset because you don't want to alienate people who want to learn by saying this is a professional tool; it can only be used by professionals. You know, the only takeaway really is that if it's got a steep learning curve, what can be done to sort of smooth that out for people so you can use it as a beginner and progress with it and not feel bad?
I mean, I'm not sure if Thomas has ever done this. Okay, and by the way, whenever Paul or me or Dave or anyone's done any videos or whatever, we're not paid. There is no affiliate thing for even bricks at the moment. You know, that's a big thing as well. None of us have been approached and told, oh, can you do videos for bricks? It's not like that at all. I'm being really honest here. A bit like breakdance as well. So Louis, if you're listening, and I bet you tune into my live chats every day, probably when you're sat on the toilet having a bit of a whatever. But I think they need to go out and commission people to start doing dedicated videos, bit like Rank Math. They employed Jack. I always get his surname wrong. It's Jack Cow. I'm never sure if I pronounce it right, but Jack Cow. He did loads of Rank Math videos, like loads. They commissioned him for it, and I think that Bricks and Breakdance need to find 1 or 2 people. I'm not saying me, okay. I'm just saying find someone who's gonna help to explain it, but at the same time, be very careful that you don't employ someone. So I'm going to put it out there. Don't employ Kevin Geary. I'll put it out there. I'm saying it now. Don't employ someone who's going to divide the audience in the way you do it. It's got to be someone who basically says, here's how you do A to B. Here's how you use this feature. Here's how you do the off-canvas menu. Not, you can only do this with a CSS framework. You can only do this with X. You can only do it with Y. And if you don't do it, if you dare use Pixel for your font instead of REM, then you're a, you know, it's almost like, you know, what units you use are down to you, right? If you want to use REM, if you want to use EM, whatever, you use what you want. But it's more about understanding how to build it. And I think Jeffrey from Lightbox is going to start doing breakdance videos very, very soon. Mm-hmm. And I think breakdance need it. And I think there's a market there for Jeffrey to use. For bricks, there isn't what I call like a dedicated, not dedicated, sorry, wrong word, official. Do you know what I mean? So really, when Thomas has a new feature coming out, Thomas isn't the greatest at explaining his videos. I think he does his best. I'm not gonna slate him on that, but I feel like what he needs is someone who now knows what's coming out, like the beta, and then they put out like a to the point video. Right, this is what it is. This is what it does. A bit in a way, you could almost say Elemental don't really do that either, do they? Like, why do I do the Elemental beta video? Because they put out an email. Often, right, it means you got to go to a page and read loads of splurge. And then I go, right, I got to get a video out there because not because I want to be the first one, which I do want to be the first one, but because a lot of it also is that it's easier for you just to see it, isn't it? Sometimes you can watch it in the background and you can go, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll go look at that. But I do feel like, and Thomas from Bricks, if you are watching this isn't a slate. I just think that you need to think about working with someone who's now going to help convey what it is you're trying to do. Because there's been a few times when Thomas has done it, and bless him, he's explaining something, And then he literally goes back on himself because he realized he's done it wrong or he's not explained it well. And it feels like you're watching a 1 hour unedited video. And you feel like if it was edited to here's the new menu, here's the new interaction feature, you could probably do it in like 10, 15 minutes.
I mean, a lot of the Bricks community would say that Kevin's 101 course is what you're describing, but it isn't.
No, it isn't, because and I feel like some of them, I feel like this is where the fanboy culture kicks in, whereby the 101 explains a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong there. It's the way you approach it though. You know, it's a bit like someone saying, if you want to become an accountant, you have to do these subjects and you have to go to Oxford University. And you have to do this and you have to be taught this way to become an accountant. When in actual fact, you can become an accountant many different ways. You don't have to learn one school of thought kind of thing, you know. You don't have to follow Newton's law of mechanics from mathematics. I hated Newton's law of mechanics. Never really fully flipping understood it. Hated it. Or statistics. There's different ways you can learn. It's like databases. My God, we used to have a data warehouse team, and every time I walked in the room, they'd be arguing about the schema model versus the snowflake model. And I was like, I don't give a shit. Just get the database done right and the data mapped right. I don't care how you do it. Just get there. Oh, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. I'm like, just get there, right? And I feel like with the 101 and stuff like that, there's always a how do I say this? There's a sneaky angle in there. So you want to learn the right way? You got to go and use a CSS framework. There's it's like it's steering you one path. You know, you want to learn how to drive, you got to get a Ferrari. If you don't get a Ferrari, you can't learn to drive. And I feel like it's, you know, I feel like you're I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. I feel like you're turning everything into like tunnel vision. Like you can only get there this way. Whereas if I don't want to go through the tunnel, I want to go around the tunnel. I will go around the tunnel, and I bet I get to the end before you, because at the moment you've got everyone going through the tunnel in a line. You know, so I don't know if I explained that well, or if I went off on a tangent. Like I was trying to be
You did, it was fine.
respectful.
The only thing that makes me chuckle, it's slightly ironic, of course, if you jump straight into using ACSS, aren't you shortcutting a lot of things you
Yes.
could
Yes,
be
yes,
learning
yes,
to
yes,
do
yes,
manually?
yes. This is exactly it. This is exactly it. I mean, so many times when I've gone through the legwork of explaining the bits about your WebP, your fonts, and all of this, and why why you should and shouldn't do stuff. And I feel like if you just have boxes and you just fill them in, you are slightly taking a shortcut. But at the same time, and we have discussed this, and we're not going to go into specifics, but there's so many tools. And by the way, we're not talking about ACSS here, just that. I'm talking about loads of tools out there. You don't actually need all the settings. You don't have to do all of that. And often, when it comes to a responsive website, I like to use Clamp. I like to make sure the image is sized okay. I like to make sure the margin and paddings are fine. And that's about it. Seriously, right? If I have to use certain colors and I don't get the AAA web accessibility score, as long as I get a AA, or at least I know you can still see the button, I don't care. You know, so there's certain things like, like certain settings you're going to go through, and I feel like I lose control over what I'm designing a little bit. So, yeah, anyway, I haven't even looked at his comment yet. I feel like if I look at it, you're probably going to
Don't.
see me effing blind. That's why I'm just putting it off at the moment. I'm going,
So, I mean, looking at the comments here, Dave then and Nicholas both made quite similar comments that, the narrative has been pushed in one direction, or it's being gate kept by a certain group to make it almost their tool.
But well, that's what Bricks has become. That's
Kinda.
literally that's literally how it's become, to the point where anyone asks a question. I made a point about this a couple of days ago on the Web Squadron group. Look, if someone asks a question about Elemental, don't say use bricks.
Mm.
Try and help the Elemental. Just like if they ask a bricks question, don't say go and use breakdance. What's happening in the bricks group is a lot of questions are being answered with, you need to go and watch the PB 101 video. What has that got to do with the question? Like how does that help the poor person?
Oh, exactly. I mean, you can reference it, but try and be helpful there and then, surely.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just like I don't know, it just feels like, and it, I feel like that group has been exploited to suit one person. Anyway, let's not spend too much time on doing that. George says, give the database boys a break. George, let me tell you now, right? The database warehouse people I worked with, I ended up telling them how to do it, because they always had a, like, let me tell you a story, right? And anyone who's worked in analytics, you might not give two shits about this, but let me tell you, right? They had a database, they had a table with dates. And then they had another table, which was, sorry, they had a fact table, and one of the columns was a date. And then they had a reference, which then said, when you link the date to the date, it will now tell you the month, the year, and whatever, blah, 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 blah. I told them, stick in the day. And they were like, why? Who's going to care if it's a Monday or Friday? I went, trust me, doctors and nurses, if there's a spike in admissions, they want to know if it was on a weekend or a Monday or a Wednesday. They need to know. We don't agree with that. And they literally refused to put the day in. And I had to fight the database developers to get that put in. Anyway, I just went off on a tangent again, but some database people can annoy me a little bit. Darren says, I think Paul is about to do a video for Core Framework. Much more sensible price. Yeah. I think he put something out. No, did he not put something out?
He made a post saying he's going
He made
to
a
do a
post.
video.
And I think that's a fair thing to do, really, in that. So Maxime from the Bricks group did the advanced FEMA, and Maxime does not exploit the Bricks group, even though he's done a whole heap of stuff to help people out in that group. He's done a load of work in there. He doesn't use it to exploit, to advertise advanced FEMA all the time. But with CSS framework, it's all we ever hear about. And Nicholas says there's a lot we should focus on when creating a website that does what it needs. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to skip down the comments because I've missed quite a few here. If you don't understand the core fundamentals of a builder, watching a video that doesn't relate is perfect. You are right there, Greg. You are right. You are right about that. I just think that, oh dear, the comments are really piling in now, aren't they? Why did I get involved? I blame RT for this. This is RT's fault, okay? He went and steered me over to that in an indirect way, by the way, okay? I just
What, do
noticed.
you mean not sending you the link directly to it and saying, go and have a read of this?
No, well, it was me sending it back to him, wasn't it? And saying, are you talking about this post? Kind of thing. What are you working on at the moment, Mark?
I've got a couple of sites that are getting really close to launch, and it's just those boring, like, oh, hang on, we were changing images around a lot. Which ones have we actually used, and have we done the alt tags? And hence why I did that little bit of helper code to show in the media library the alt descriptions in the actual column,
right.
just so I can see if they were there or not.
Exactly, yeah. John makes a good point over here. So I have to explain that whenever I talk about certain people, at the time, I often just let it out. I sometimes struggle to keep it in. And I'm talking about my comments and thoughts, not anything else inside of me. And often afterwards, I sort of then regret it. Not because I don't believe in what I say, but often I'm a bit like, did I really have to put it out there? But I really have to let people know, kind of thing. Like, who cares about just get over it? So even though I put things out there, I do sometimes feel like I shouldn't have said that, or have I just created a rod for my back? But John does make a point in that if you're negative about anyone's business, then people will wonder if they connect with you. And I think that is what is happening with bricks. That is happening. And a lot of us do. It's the reason why I'm going to be doing less bricks videos. I'm telling you now, if you're expecting me to do another tutorial on bricks, it's not going to happen for a while. I'm fed up of the nasty comments that you get that none of you see because they come direct or whatever. I'm not going to screenshot them and tell you who has said what, because that's a dangerous game to get involved into, right? You know, don't want to do that, but it really rattles you. And I've even let Jamie know. I let him know an hour ago. Look, Jamie, just to let you know, this is kicking off in the group. Just be aware of it. Okay, I don't know where it's going to go, but try not to get involved into it because I already have.
Is there an ACSS Facebook group?
I believe there is. I believe there is a private group. Yes. I believe there is. In fact, I think there is because I checked. And I think someone made a comment once on the Bricks group with, why don't you keep all the ACSS stuff there? And as soon as this poor person said that, you had literally the whole Bricks community pile on them going, we don't care what you think. We don't mind Kevin Geary doing this in our group. We love it. And it was like, yeah, but it's become a very
It's almost
one-sided.
getting like you've absolutely got to have ACSS if you use
You
Brick.
don't. That's the
And I
that's the
know
thing.
it's weird. Oh well, we spent a lot of time talking about Brick
We
when
do, we
in
do, we do.
reality neither of us use it.
No, and it was like and I think we can stop talking about it after I've said this bit. It's literally like you want to go through your day with no intention, and then someone somewhere has to kick it off. And you know that as soon as this one person gets involved, and I've said this to them privately, and they don't want to accept it. I have said that if someone starts off something negative, and you come in and you continue the negativity because it's you open the door for loads more people to pile in now. Oh well, it's like if someone said something about Elementor and I went in and said, yeah, you're right, Elementor is a bag of feces or whatever. You're opening the door for people to go, well, you know what, Imran said that, yeah, let's all just jump in, kind of thing. Which is, it's what politicians do, isn't it? When something
Well,
bad
look,
happens.
I think Uncle What's His Face summed it up well with
Okay.
about power and responsibility in Spider-Man, didn't he?
Yep, with great power comes
Um,
responsibility.
yeah, and this is something I tried to explain in that thread a few weeks back on that Friday. That if people listen to you,
Yeah.
you do become responsible, and that's it. End of. No argument.
Hmm. You're right. You're absolutely right. Greg says they do. It's called the inner circle. Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I honestly don't have anything against anyone's inner circle or anything like that. I just feel like, we need to.
Sorry,
Sounds pornographic, doesn't it? Hey, my inner circle. Who's gonna my inner
can I
circle?
subscribe to your inner circle then?
Yeah, it's like, who's gonna enter my inner circle today? And they ain't talking about your belly button, are they? Right, okay. We're only going to be live for another couple more minutes, by the way, because I've got some stuff I really want to get on with. Learn with Ustad says, actually, I wonder if there is a code snippet that double checks user emails and lets them know that you already submit the form. Let's think about this then. That lets them know that you will. Right. Well, number one, it will have to detect your IP.
Well, no, I mean, he's
Would it?
querying, could it go off and look at where the email address is stored in the
Ah,
database, and they say you've already submitted it. Thing is, depends the type of form, doesn't it? Because if it's just a general inquiry form, people might be submitting it multiple times with multiple questions. So let's assume it's a form that you would only ever need to submit once. Can
yeah.
it be done? In theory, I suppose.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, as long as like, okay, I'm gonna say that if it's Elemental and you got the form submission, I don't know. I don't know. In theory, it sounds like it can be done. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, Learn with Us Start. What I would say you do is, this is top secret information, by the way, okay? And it's very dangerous, but we're going to tell you anyway. Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT and see what ChatGPT says. Because there's a very high chance it will probably let you know.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you can do something like that with gravity forms and limit submissions. Might not be
Oh,
standard
yeah.
feature. There might be a Gravity Whiz add-on that does it, but
I think you're right. What was the other one? What's the other one? Ninja Forms? I think P.net Forms as well. I'm sure that had something about stopping duplicate entries based on either the IP address or the email address, something like that. But yeah,
I get the
Nicola,
impression he's not thinking more. I think he's thinking less spam and more particular use case that would serve the same purpose. But
right? Nick says we're all part of a bigger community. That's the beauty of open source. Why do we keep trying to? Yeah, exactly. And this is it, right? Why do I like using WordPress? Why did Dave Foy, who went to Webflow, come back to WordPress? He even said this was the reason. Why? Why?
well,
What's
it was
your
the
reason?
community, wasn't it?
The community,
Mm.
exactly. It doesn't matter what you're using. You know, I mean, I don't care if you use Divi, Breakdance, Bricks, Spectra, whatever. I don't care. Just as long as we kind of help support each other. Hey, I want to do X. Oh, there's a plugin for that. Rather than, oh no, you got to use Divi. Oh no, you got to use Gutenberg. No, that wasn't the question. And there's so much intelligence we can bring. I really want to do X, Y, Z. Well, here's a bit of HTML code, which means you can probably apply it to any page builder or theme builder. And that's what I love. That is what made the WordPress community so nice when I first started using it. Very early on, there was already this community spirit building that we're here to help each other out. Because when I was learning, um, like I said, I was an analyst, but then the room next door, there were developers, and some of them were web builders. I would go in and go, "Hey, I'm experimenting with web design. If I want to make this line go here, oh no, can't help you. No. They were like so protective of it, and I was like, I just want to do a line. I don't want to draw it on my monitor because then I'll have a problem rubbing it out. How do I do it? You know? No. Whereas with WordPress, you know, even then, the W3 website was around even back then. We're going back, whoa, early 2000s. It was around a long time ago. It was great. And that's and that's and that's something I have to say I'm starting to see the breakdown in the community spirit. It's becoming very confrontational.
And we're moving into camps, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah, it's literally that, and I don't like that. I don't, and that's why I don't have any intention of doing breakdance. I know Greg's going to hate me for that because Greg does use breakdance, but I don't. I just feel like I don't want to join communities where we backchat just because we don't like. It's like it's like I tell you there's one argument I've never liked. I've despised this argument. And this goes all the way back to 2007. No, it was 2010. 2010, 2000. No, it was 2010. I went and got the latest iPhone at the time, which would have been the iPhone 4, and I had it. And someone next door to me was like, "Oh, Apple fanboy," and I was like,
Oh
"Yes."
no, I'm with them on that.
But I was
George
like,
just said something interesting, by the
"No,
way,
but
about
yeah, go on."
as a coder, I can tell you we protect code and knowledge. I'm abnormal. I share everything. Is that a case of obviously proprietary code you protect, but technique? If
I,
somebody asks you, how do I do this? Not, and you can point them in the right direction of something rather than I want it to do X, Y, Z. Can I steal your code? Sort of thing.
no, I think a lot of it was because and I know this for a fact as well, because I've started hearing things and then people admitted to stuff. They were afraid of me doing it better than them. So we had a team of analysts who did everything in Microsoft Access, everything. And the data warehouses used SQL. I went and learned SQL and they were really mad. They weren't happy. Because then I taught our entire team how to use SQL and we started doing things quicker. And it meant we could interrogate data better to challenge the warehouses and go, why have you done that? That's not how it should be done. And what I then realized is the people that did the websites, they were building websites for like doctor surgeries. I started learning, and then I would go out to the doctors because I had a meeting, and then they would say, "Oh, Imran, what about what I've got here that was built?" And I would like, "Yeah, you need to do X, Y, Z." And they didn't like it that I was literally then helping the doctors to do other stuff on their websites because they like to do things a certain way. And I was saying, well, you don't have to do it that way. If you want to be a little different, you can be different if it helps you or your surgery. So I feel like some of them were like, change, that's it. They were anti-change. They were anti-evolving. They were like, we've learned to do it like that. We will always do it like that. That's it. This is how every website's going to look. And my biggest thing I'm most proud of is we had an information system and I completely changed it my way and I built it and it got rolled out across the whole of Leicestershire and it was adopted by London as well. And the website team were mad as hell at me. And all I said to them is, but by doing this, I've now put more power in the doctors and nurses' hands because they don't need to now, they've now got the information accessible to them. Before, they'd have to say, I want to know about X. Then they have to contact someone. Then they have to go to an analyst. Then they have to wait for the report. Now they can log in and they get everything they want within minutes compared to a week. But the reason why the team loved to have a week is because you could take your time and give them what they want when they want. Well, how does that help patient care? If they're trying to help a patient, they don't want to wait 1 week for you to tell them, yeah, this is what, blah, 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 blah. So I think a bit like what we've been working more closely together. We like to find solutions to problems that can help accelerate what you do or make your life more efficient.
Oh, there's a soundbite if ever there was one.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's what the whole Web Squadron Facebook group original. Oh, I've got a phone call coming in. Right, I'm going to shoot off now. I've got to answer this, right? So I'm going to say goodbye, Mark. I'm going to end now and say goodbye, everyone. Bye. See you later, Mark.
See you later, mate.